Hi, my name is Matt Newmark and I'm owner and chief instructor of Elite Defense Systems. I'd like to welcome you back to this video series here as we're kind of giving you a quick little crash course into finding out the best martial arts program, maybe for you or a family member that you're kind of doing some research for. The next thing I'd like to get on in here into is what we call areas of combat, or what is the focus of the particular arts that the schools are teaching. You know, every single time you check out a martial arts academy, whether it be through a website or actually walking through their doors, you're going to realize that each school teaches a particular art. Maybe it teaches maybe a couple of them. But the point that I want to make here is that each one of those are going to focus on a particular, what we call, area of combat or area of self-defense. And there's only 5 of these. There's only 5 categories or areas that a particular art or school can really focus on and teach. So let me go through those, and then at the end what I'll do is I'll actually tell you what, from my experience have been, what's the best area to learn. The first one is what we call kickboxing range. Kickboxing range is where you have a little bit of distance between you and your opponent. Obviously, kickboxing means that it goes as far as a kick or far as a punch, so you're pretty far off the person, usually standing right in front of the person. The next area of self-defense we have is close quarters. I mean, think about it. If we had long range, now we're going to have a close range. We call that close quarters. If you're that close to somebody, could you kick or punch somebody? Probably not. It might be more effective to use some other tools. And that's why it's so important to be kind of well-rounded and not just learn maybe one kind of style or one kind of art. I'll get into that a little bit more deeply here in a second. Ground fighting is the third area of self-defense. Ground fighting is like wrestling. It's usually done horizontally, and knowing how to fight if by chance you get tackled down to the ground is probably a pretty important thing. Ground fighting has obviously gotten just a lot of PR here over the last handful of years. It's become very, very popular, and it's something that you must learn because that kind of situation could happen where you're taken down to the ground. Obviously, if you're talking about female self-defense and being fearful of being raped, most of those things are going to happen obviously on the ground, so you have to be very, very educated in knowing how to deal with those kinds of situations. Weapons self-defense is kind of what we call the fourth area here. Weapons self-defense, there's a lot of different weapons. It's a very, very broad area, and therefore being educated on how to deal with attacks, whether someone's coming at you with a knife or a sharp weapon or an impact weapon, like let's say a stick or even a firearm of some sort. That's very, very important as far as that goes. The last area that we have here is mass attack. And what mass attack means is that now we're being attacked by multiple people. It's just not a one-on-one situation. Maybe it's a one-on-two, or maybe you're with someone. It's a 2-on-5 situation or something like that. But knowing how to get yourself safely out of those altercations is very, very important. So why am I going over these again? Well, once again, because if you go ahead and you go into one school and they only focus on one of these areas, maybe 2 at max, you're only going to be getting a partial education. The way that I kind of equate this is that, if you take a look at school or how we learn, I'm guessing that you would probably not want to send a student, even a younger student, let's say, to a school that just teaches math. All they do is teach math. Math, math, math all day long. Now, the honest answer is that they're going to be able to become great at math. There's no doubt about that. But the fact is they're also not being educated in history or in science or reading or writing, and those are all very, very important topics as well. So what I want to get across to you is that the answer that I have is finding an art or finding a system or finding a school that's going to kind of give the students a well-rounded education by training them in each and every area of fighting or each and every area of self-defense. And the reason why is because, God forbid you're ever attacked. You don't know how you're going to be attacked, or God forbid your child gets assaulted. They don't know how they're going to get assaulted. They can be tackled down to the ground, they could have a weapon pulled on them. Maybe they're in a tight environment, and that would fall under close quarters where they don't have a whole lot of room to move around. So once again, that's something where we kind of make a difference between what we teach here and what so many other schools teach. It doesn't necessarily make us better than anybody else. It just makes us different, and that's something that I think people need to look into, is that if you want to focus in a particular area, like let's say a person really wants to get into fencing, well then go to a fencing school, obviously. Or if a person really wants to get good at kicking, well then find a school that's going to focus mainly on kicks. But on the other hand, if you want to become well-rounded, I would really have you look into those kinds of schools, look into those kinds of programs that has a well-rounded curriculum that teaches every single area of self-defense and not just one or two. So once again, as you contemplate that, go ahead and maybe look at these areas, maybe see what your favorite is, and there's nothing wrong with having a favorite, but I also want you to take a look at the fact of, is being more well-rounded, is that maybe a smarter, more intelligent step to look into as far as that school? Once again, if you have more questions on this, please feel free to give me a call directly or check us out via our website as well. Thanks so much, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.